Hello, everybody. It's that time of year again. It's time to get the combine out of the shed, make sure everything's working, check things out, get ready to pull into the field, and start cutting some crops. I'm going to try to cut some beans today if I can get this thing going, but I found some problems. Have you ever watched that movie called Gremlins? I've got them, unfortunately. I first had a battery that was pretty dead. Had to charge it, got it going. And then I couldn't move the combine. I had about 13 codes going off. Well, unfortunately, I started looking around. There was no fuses, this is the fuse panel on this 9770 John Deere, and there was no fuses blown. So then I'm like, okay, what's going on here? Well, we have a major problem, and it's not just gremlins, it's raccoons. We've also had some squirrels run around here, but mainly raccoons. As you can see, every year we have major problems with raccoons. There's raccoon poop there. They get up there, they climb around. It's almost like a jungle gym to them. I mean, they just cause all kinds of problems. So during my inspection, trying to figure out why is this thing not running, I have found several problems. One, well, you can't see it, but there's a wire here that was cut open. And I'll get the flashlight here. So this wire here was chewed in half, and I've already fixed it. That looks like it goes back to maybe one of the hydraulic solenoids here. So then I move around a little bit further. I found a broken wire up here where they chewed into some. But the gold mine, or the mother lode, was right here. And I've spent at least 2 hours putting those together. And there's about 20 some wires. Luckily, they were labeled with a number also to correspond with each wire. I had to add a few of my own wire to make the distance because they chewed even further back. So they've caused a major problem here. I've got all that wired back together. They chewed a hole in my Lincoln, I guess this is called a Lincoln lube system, and they chewed a hole in that, so I've got to fix that. Well, after butt connecting with the butt connectors, all these wires, went to the combine and tried running it. And it's still showing some more codes. So then I come around here and get underneath the combine to the transmission and parking brake, because it said parking brake problem. And look what I found. I found more wires torn up. It's definitely a raccoon. And it's chewed up wires there, chewed up wires down in there. So this one's going to be a little bit more difficult to get to because I'm literally pretty tight right in here. So yeah, as I was saying, the wires here are pretty bad, and it seems like every year we have more and more problems with raccoons. And I trap them. We trap the things. It's not like that we just let them run amok, but we are having problems with our equipment. It's not the first time it's happened. It's definitely probably not going to be the last. So farmers deal with a lot of problems with wildlife. It seems like every year it's getting worse. But again, we trap, we try to get rid of them, and we do a pretty good job, but they just keep coming back. So yeah, this is the stuff that we have to deal with. Gremlins, I like to call them. But it's actually daggum raccoons. So anyhow, I'm going to try to hopefully finish this up and at least maybe get in a field today to try to cut some beans, because I haven't even started cutting any crop yet. All the crop was planted pretty late due to the excess rainfall we had early in the season. And anyway, it's been a slow start, and especially with this problem. So let's see what happens here, and hopefully today we get to get this combine in the field and get some beans combined. All right, so I just finished up fixing all this under here. This sensor back there was broke down to the sensor. There was actually a little bit of wire sticking out to where I could put some butt connectors on it. There's a sensor right I'm trying to get my light back in there. Sensor back in there that was chewed down to the sensor where I couldn't even put a butt connector on. Here it is. This is where they chewed it down right to the edge of the sensor, which I could not fix. So I had to overnight that part back in there, which was extra 20 bucks. But this is actually some kind of I think reversing sensor. But anyways, it's magnetic. There's a little magnet on here, and it screws into the housing of the transmission. And every time I guess it spins, it counts revolutions. I don't know. Somehow it makes things happen. So got all that finished. I have one thing left to do, and that is over here. I have reconnected all those wires. I've used about 60 butt connectors so far. I have to heat these up and shrink them to get them watertight. That's the plan. And then I'll end up putting some of this protector over top of it and get it back in place. So I've actually turned the combine on after finishing all this, and it does turn on and it doesn't have any codes. So I went from 13 codes to 0. I have not tried turning it in reverse or putting it in reverse or going forward yet, but as of right now, it's coming together. All right, so here's what it looks like. I got a heat gun here. Here's what it looks like when you heat these up. We call it heat shrink butt connector. So this yellow one right here, I'm going to try to show you what it does. As you can see, it's getting smaller around the wire. It's actually constricting. You gotta watch it. Don't get it too hot and start melting things. All right, so here's the finished product, and let's get up here in the combine and see if it'll move. Like I said before, it was showing 13 codes. Let's hope it doesn't have any now. Let's run up here real quick. Well, before it was giving me all kinds of codes, and there was a yellow light here on, but everything looks like it's working good. Let's hit the park button. All right, so that's working. To go in reverse, you push this over and then pull it back and see if we move. Oh yeah. Thank God I got it fixed.